Well, I'm gonna get to the point. I normally be jamming to some music to get me. I'll be jamming to some music to go part of the topic that I want to talk about. Well, hello everyone. Good evening. Good evening. This is your one and only Facebook minister, Minister Eric Robinson Jr. You thought I was gone? I'm not. I just been chilling, been focusing on my just focusing on work, family. That's it. But there's been a topic, that's been something been dwelling in my spirit for a while since this dropped in my spirit, and I had to take time to sit back and scratch my head and ask some questions like, am I happy or am I tolerating? I wonder if there's people that's happy or just tolerating. And you're like, Minister, what do you mean by that? What I mean by, are you really happy? Are you truly happy? Or are you just tolerating? What I mean is the fact of, are you happy where you're at in your life? Are you happy with your career? Are you happy with the person that you're committed to? Or is it just something that you just tolerate? Something that you or deal with until something better that comes your way? So, while I was also thinking about that, I always thought about a scripture of trusting the Lord with all thy heart and all thy soul and lean not to our own understanding. Yeah, we often too much lean to our own understanding and not lean to God's. We don't want to trust Him or trust the process, but then when we choose to do things our way, yep, I'm doing it. I'm doing a heart-to-heart talk in my tank top, and I'm driving home from Orlando. After I did my CAMS class, I hung out with some friends and some family members. So now I don't do all the hanging out, nothing bad. Just hung out, ate, had a little fun at Dave and Buster's. So now I'm heading home back to St. Pete. Hey Steph, how you doing? So what comes to mind is, are we ever happy with what we have and what we're doing in our lives, or are we just tolerating? So when that scripture comes to mind about Proverbs 3, chapter 3, verse 3 through 5, is the fact that, do we trust our own understanding? We trust on our own intentions, or do we want to lean more to God and making sure that we want God to show us the right way and put us on the right path, but sometimes we may or may not don't like what answer He gives us. So some of us be so worried about the answer that He's going to give us that we just say, nah, no, I'm gonna just do my own little thing. There we go. I'm back. I guess the signal was going down a little bit. I guess somebody's upset because I'm doing this teaching right quick while it's still in my spirit, and I'm got to be obedient. So sometimes that there are things that we have to ordeal with. There's things we just tolerate, or there's sometimes we just need to go on the right path and just take time to sit in the corner and prepare ourselves for what's yet to come. And we often mess ourselves up. We often fall short because we're having tendencies to do our own little thing, and that's why it gets to the point that we're just not happy. We're just tolerating. I'm okay. I'm gonna settle, and we often settle settle for less than what we really truly want. So we put ourselves in predicaments and in situations that makes us to a point, have us to a point, we just mad at the world. And we can sit here and be like, I'm mad at the world, but we don't want to be mad at ourselves because we chose what we wanted to do when we don't lean and depend and trust in God. We do get tired in being weary. We do get tired of, okay, I'm waiting, I'm being patient, when it's going to be over. I just want to be over. But it's not going to be over. It's always going to be trials and tribulations. It's always going to be ups and downs that we have to or deal with in our lives in order for us to grow, in order for us to mature. Yeah, we're not going to be happy at first because we can go down, we can pray for the things that we want, but we get mad and get upset when there's ups and downs and trials and tribulations that we got to go through in order to get it. Preparation season, and then we sit here and we let the devil tell us, "Oh man, the devil don't want telling me that God don't want me to have this." No, that's the devil that wants you to have that blessing. You just God devil just don't want you to have to don't want you to endure what comes with it because he know if we endure, if we prepare ourselves, guess what? We're ready for what's to come. So I can sit here and do this, or I can do that. Why I did that with the light on because of the fact of sometimes when the light is shining on us, when we have to look at our own faults, we have to look at our own flaws, when we have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, I'm gonna say it like this: mirror, mirror on the wall, show me what I need to work on. Yeah, I didn't get that. I kind of picked it up a little bit from my Cam's class today. But I just said, mirror, mirror on the wall, show me what I need to work on today. So before we always look at everybody else and looking to blame everybody else for the things that we go through, have we just took the time to look in the mirror, say, mirror, I know I took that from a Disney movie, but I just put a twist to it. So there's that part of mirror, mirror on the wall, show me what I need to work on. Now, when we sit there and say something like that, now we're accountable and responsible for the things that we hear and what we see. Excuse me. Now we're accountable for what the things that we hear and see. We ask God to shine that light on heaven, on us, to sit there and say, what do I need to work on for me to become a better version of myself? Not what and not what I'm gonna blame it's their fault, it's their fault that I'm not the better version of myself. So part of looking in the mirror or using the phrase that I just said, mirror, mirror on the wall, what do I need to work on today? So we need to just get to a point in our minds, we need to start saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who can I blame for all my faults? Oops. That's what we do. We're talking in the mirror and saying, who can I blame for my faults? Who can I blame for my shortcomings? Who can I blame for why I'm not where I'm at in my life? Who can I blame? Mirror, mirror on the wall, show me what I need to work on today. Stop blaming family members. Stop blaming your spouse. Stop blaming your significant other. Stop blaming your parents. Stop bringing in your friends, and start looking and seeing what can I do to change to become a better version of myself. No change, no maturity comes without facing the accountability of the choices that we make. I had to learn that myself because I was always sitting up here blaming everybody else for what the calamity man that I go through or why I'm not where I'm at in my life. I'm always blaming somebody else, but I never look in the mirror and say, I'm what's keeping me from being a better version of myself. I'm the one that is preventing me from becoming better. I'm the one who did all the damage that kept me from becoming a better version of me. Me, oh me, I stand in the need in prayer, Lord. Stop saying her, or him, or them. Start singing you. Stop looking to blame someone. Stop always looking for the quick excuse. Because I know this is something my pastor often would say in some of her sermons, and it always made me dwell on it. And she gave a part of don't get stuck in how you feel, let Jesus take the wheel. So I had to find out what song that was. I was like, oh, do you want to be happy? That's what the song is called. But I ended up I finished some of the part on it when I said, don't get stuck in how, no, excuse me, is if you're tired of being the same, if you're tired of things not changing, it's time to move out the way. That part is saying it's time for us to move out the way. If we're tired of things not changing and we're tired of trying to do it our way, we need to get our way and let God handle it. Oops. But nobody don't want to do that. Nobody don't want to do that. Nah, I ain't gonna. I got it. Yeah, keep telling yourself that you got it, and see how much of a deeper hole we could if we continue to dig for ourselves when we say I got it. Now that's why that part says, if you're tired of being the same and you're tired of things not changing, it's time to get out the way. If things ain't going the way you want to go, if things are not changing, it's time to get out the way and let God handle it. Stop thinking we can always handle it ourselves, and we wind up digging ourselves a bigger hole along the way. And the next part was, don't get stuck in how you feel. Let Jesus take the wheel. So we need to stop being so freaking emotional. I said it. I said what I said, and I mean what I say. Stop being so freaking emotional when it gets to the point it's time for us to remove ourselves out of the way and let God handle the situation. We always want to say, oh, I got this, God. I know how to handle it. Since when? Since how? If we can handle it, we won't be digging ourselves in a deeper hole. And the part of when it says, don't get stuck in how you feel, let Jesus take the wheel, he knows the road that we need to take. God already knows the path. God already set the path. God already knows where we need to go and what we need to do. But rather than just saying, God, take the wheel, take this wheel, and you drive. You direct my path. We say, I got this, God. I can do it better than you. Oops. And I'm telling some people tonight, apparently so. Apparently so. So, and the next part is saying, and I really get people with this one, it's so easy to complain, addicted to the pain. It's so easy to complain, addicted to the pain. Minister Eric, what the heck you got going on with this song? Dissecting. You're literally dissecting this parts of this song. I sure am. What that's saying is, it's so easy to complain. It's so easy to make excuses. It's so easy to complain. It's so easy to blame somebody else. It's so easy to take the easy road out. That's why we get so addicted. That means it's like a drug. It's literally like a drug. How you know how you see people who smoke crack, heroin, or smoke cigarettes, or drink liquor, always having a habit of drinking liquor, always having a habit of smoking cigarettes, always having a habit of using all types of drugs. They're addicts. They're addicted to it. And trying to pull them off of the addiction that they've been consistently on for a long period of time is never an easy task. It's never an easy task to get off an addiction you've been hooked on for a very long time. So when we're willing to get out of our way, willing to get out of our stubborn way, and stop being so addicted to making excuses. That's what it says. It's so easy to complain, addicted to the pain. So when we get so addicted to it, it becomes very painful because a lot of time we trying to get out of that habit. It becomes very painful, but don't the truth always set you free eventually? We are always addicted, not and addiction doesn't always mean drugs, alcohol. It don't have to mean all that. We could be addicted to being a serial dater. We could be addicted to being always want to be in a relationship. We could be addicted to always going through heartbreaks. Oops. We could be addicted to always getting into meaningless relationships or having meaningless relations without no intentions. Oops. I'm gonna say that again. We can have an addiction to being a serial dater. We could be addicted to having relationships. We can have an addiction to having relations without no intentions. Minister Eric, what do you mean? What do you mean? I could be addicted to dating, addicted to being in a relationship, addicted to relations without intentions. Yes, we can. We could be, it don't always have to be addicted to drugs, addicted to social media. It could be other addictions that prevents us from becoming the better version of ourselves. So when we begin to realize that we're the problem, when we realize, we see that, man, all this stuff that's happening has a common denominator, has a common factor. When we start doing this and start doing this, then the healing really begins. Then we really begin to get to the point of we can be happy. We're not tolerating. So what I mean by addiction, the key addiction that a lot of people have, and almost pretty much nobody can really tell me no different at this point right now because I see it go down myself, first-hand experience. There's been a lot of people that has a relations addiction more than actually being committed. What I mean, Minister Eric, what do you mean we addicted to having relations without no real intentions? What I mean is everybody having sexual, I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna tell it like it is, having sexual intentions, sexual relations without intentions. Meaning everybody wants to joke and play that soul ties is not a serious thing. As long as I'm worried about catching me one, I'm good. I need to catch me a good one, and I'm good. So you're telling me that you rather have sexual relations without not only no intentions, but you're connecting with somebody you really don't have no intentions of having something serious with. I can sit here and preach to y'all many times that the Bible says that sex is supposed to be safe for marriage, not something for a very amusement toy. But I can say that all I want to. But in the end of the day, we're all adults, and we all have to make decisions, and we all have to suffer consequences for the decisions that we make. We all do. No matter who we are, there's always going to be consequences of the decisions that we make. So if we want to go around and being laid up with this many men and this many women, and thinking there ain't gonna be no consequences because I'm pleasing my flesh, but my spirit is suffering. That's everybody's issue. They cannot fully commit. So that's why I mean you could be fully addicted to sexual relations without no real intentions. And people want to get mad and say, "Oh, you don't need to be talking about that." Sorry, but one thing before I even came to having the past I have, Another pastor always taught on every single thing that needs to be taught on that's in the Bible. It was always taught, period, point blank. And never hovered around particular topics. It was always talking about every single thing that prepares us from not only our lives, but for us to have relationships that turn into marriage. We always have to be prepared for it. And we always have to learn the consequences of these things that we do. But sometimes people kind of avoid having these type of talks and teachings because they don't want to run nobody off. Sorry. Real talk. And that could be one of the top things that would literally make people hit a U-turn out of church. That would make it hit a U-turn from God. Because when there are certain topics or certain addictions that people need help from breaking, we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with it. So are you happy or are you tolerating? I'd rather be happy knowing that I'm being honest, that I want somebody else to be happy. I want somebody else to break their addictions or break the cycle they're constantly going through. This is the point that we need to worry about doing stuff that makes us happy and not making everybody else happy while we sitting back miserable as hell. I would say hell, but I don't want to be seen like I'm using it in the wrong way. I'm going to say it like this, though. It's like I'm ready to be happy, but I'm not going to sit here and do stuff to make everybody else happy while I'm sitting back miserable as hell as the devil is in hell. That's the thing. People will constantly do things that makes everybody else happy while you sitting back miserable because we often be too concerned with making everybody else happy, but we sit back miserable. We worry about, as long as they happy, I'm good. Don't lie to yourself. If you're not happy doing it, and you're both not happy, why is one person happy and you're not? We often have that major happy. We want to have the kind hearts. I have that. But at the same time, I had to really learn to the point there's a time to say yes and a time to say no. Ecclesiastes talks about it. It's a time and a place and a season for everything. Every season is not, every situation, every scenario is not always going to get a yes. There's always going to be a no. And it's going to be always to a point that somebody's going to get upset. Somebody's going to get mad. To be honest, so what? It's time for us to be happy and stop tolerating. It's time for us to be happy and not sitting around being miserable while everybody else being happy. I'm happy I got what I need in the morning, but this person not happy. What's wrong with them? I would say what's wrong with you, but okay. That's the thing. We're always too concerned with making everybody else happy. If we're not happy doing it ourselves, then there's a problem. Easy to complain, addicted to the pain. I know some of us be feeling some pain because of the fact that we're sitting up here trying to make everybody else happy, and we become miserable in the process. And we sit up here tolerating somebody, and we know we tolerate people in certain things that they do because they often or a situation make us feel like we can't do no better. Since when? Anybody can do better than what they're having. If this ain't what you want, stop staying in the situation. And I do mean it. Stop staying in a situation or situationship that you're sitting miserable while they getting everything they want out of you. Oops. What can I say about that? What can I say? It's just sometimes it's time to stop playing like we're happy and we're really not. It's time for us to stop tolerating things that we should not have to tolerate. We should not have to tolerate somebody who's a drug addict, who smokes, and we set standards, we set expectations. Is this what we want, desire, and we're not getting it? Stop tolerating and feeling like we can't do no better. We are all capable of becoming a better version of ourselves. We're all capable of doing better than what we are right now. But people in the world, sometimes other people will make us feel like we can't do no better. And what type of friends do we surround ourselves with? When people say you can't do no better, that tells us we around too many negative friends. We got too many negative people around us, and wondering why we're stuck where we're at, stuck in a rut, because we allow other people to make us feel we can't do no better. And it's God's honest truth. We are capable of doing better when we're placed around the right people. When we're around the right people. But if we continue to choose to be around all this negativity, we're going to continue to be right where we're at. Ain't nothing changing, moving, and shifting. Ain't nothing healing. We're going to be sitting broken, bitter, and heartbroken because we never take the time to realize I need to do what makes me happy. I need to heal. I need time to myself. I need to become a better version of myself. And knowing, guess what? When we become the better version of ourselves, we begin to attract people that seem to change in us. The change I want to see must first begin in me. I surrender. So the change has to begin in us. Ain't no change gonna happen if we don't realize that the change must begin in me. Nothing else around me ain't gonna change until the change happens in me. So me being around negative people, I gotta go. I gotta be positive. We have the ability to change our surroundings. We have the ability to change our atmosphere. But we have to make the choice to change. We must make the choice to look in the mirror and say, okay, mirror, mirror on the wall, what do I need to work on today? As soon as that first thing shows up that we need to work on, do it. Then do it again. Mirror, mirror on the wall, what do I need to work on today? That's your own version of, you might hear a little rhyming from the Disney, yada, yada, yada. You hear mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, no, do this. Because when you constantly look in the mirror, and it's just like you asking God to shine that light from heaven on us, not on Pookie, not on Ray Ray, not on Shaquika, not on Shanae, on me. When we shine that light on us, when we shine that light, and we look in the mirror and say, oh, I do need to work on that. Let's get to work. Oh, I do need to change that. Let's get to work. Each day, encourage yourself to look in the mirror and say, mirror, mirror on the wall, what do I need to work on today? Don't try to work on a whole bunch of stuff at the same time. Work on one thing at a time and look and trust in God and look what God will do for you. Say, oh, okay, there is a knowledge in me. They do want to change. They do want to do better. They do want to become the better version of themselves. Let it just take the time to realize when we begin to not stop pointing and making excuses and blaming everybody else and begin to say me, oh Lord, I'm sitting in the need of prayer. I'm looking in the mirror and say it's me. That's the first beginning. Confessing is the first beginning of your healing process. Confessing is the beginning of the healing process. That's why there are three types of healing that we have to go through in order for us to be healed fully and completely. Stop going through one phase and thinking you're good when there's two other phases you got to do. So I'm gonna explain them right quick, and I'm gonna get up off of here because I'm in Tampa right now. I'm not too far from St. Pete. First healing is the all natural, the physical. Physical healing involves us physically healing, and people do not know how to drive. Their life depends on it. Excuse me, a little rage. So you know how when it comes down to physical healing, how we need to heal from cuts, bruises, scars, and broken bones. That's the physical healing. We having to take the time to sit our butts down and just heal, letting wounds heal, letting cuts and wounds heal, letting bones heal, come back together, connected, so forth. That's your physical healing. And here comes the whole. One of the things that we always want to have a difficult time with, one of them, we often is the spiritual healing. Yay! Spiritual healing! I'm silly, don't mind me, ladies and gentlemen. I just like to try to make it perky fun, but I want y'all to get the point. Spiritual healing is the inner. It's saying to your inner self, it's saying, well, spirit, it's time to go through a healing. Well, spirit, I need to break the soul freaking ties. And Minister Eric, can you please explain to us about soul ties? Yes, I will. What I mean by soul ties, it's the number one thing when it comes down to how soul tie is created through sex. When you give yourself to a man, when you give yourself to a woman, once you enter, you just connected with them on a mental and spiritual level. So that means, Mr. Eric, no matter if I want to please my flesh, I'm connected to this person spiritually. But let me give you another kicker. You wonder why a lot of people can't fully commit to a relationship? One of the top reasons they can't commit to a relationship because they connected to somebody else spiritually. And like Mr. Eric, that ain't no excuse not to be. This is the part where I know people don't like to do research. When it comes to soul ties, it don't matter what your flesh feels. You're connected with somebody spiritually because it's a spiritual thing. That's why sex was always meant to be for marriage. You're connecting with somebody on the spiritual level. That means you're connected. So that means you can sit here and be physically over somebody, but you're still connected with them spiritually. You still have thoughts about them. And when we don't break them soul ties, guess what? The more we connect, the more it's hard to commit. So if you see that man or woman constantly out there flirting with someone that they previously had sex with, or get caught cheating with someone they had sex with, oops, I'm talking about marriage selfish. I am. I'm just that real. When people is still doing these things with people that they had relations with, they're not doing it just for the heck of it. That's only one reason, meaning they're still connected to that person on a spiritual level. So that means, what that means? That means they somehow still connected with the person. That means they haven't gotten over that person. That means you may want to go sit somewhere in the corner and you may want to fully break that soul tie with that person, or else we're going to have a hard time fully committing to one person. I put bread, we don't have no problem with fully committing to a relationship with God when it's deemed necessary. Or let me hurt y'all feelings a little bit. Nah. Meaning, I only want to deal with God when I need something or want something. Or when I get that need and get that want, guess what? I don't have nothing else to say to God until I need it again. I need him again. So you want to deal with God when things going bad, but when things going good again, we begin to fade away from God's sight. We fade away from God's sight because of the fact that we got what we want. We come in the bad times, but leave when things are good. We got to stay with God and be committed in this relationship with God through the good times and through the bad. If we're not willing to be committed to God through the good times and through the bad times, ain't no point of trying to straddle the fence. Are you here or are you over there? Which one? You can't serve two masters, so which one you doing? Who you gonna serve? Who you gonna serve this day? Are you gonna serve God or you gonna serve the devil? So don't come when things are going bad and leave when it's good again. I don't want to talk about how friendship and relationship be because I will hurt a lot of y'all feelings and would not care. But I'm obedient, getting what God's placed in my spirit to talk about. Because when I talk about that, I may hurt some of y'all feelings. I know how my mouth is. I don't know, my pastor probably gonna watch this. She gonna have one lovely chat with me about saying something like that. I do apologize. I have tendencies to speak what's on my mind. So here's what's going on. It's just like how, let me reverse that. Now come back. All right. So pretty much that's the spiritual part. Now we go to the emotional healing. Emotional healing. Basically, what goes on with emotional healing is the fact of you need to heal emotionally. If you can easily get offended very easily, you ain't. That means we ain't take no time to heal emotionally. People emotions and feelings get hurt very easily by the slightest thing or the slightest words or the slightest actions. If you're that easily offended, if you can be that easily offended, that tells you automatically you are emotionally broken. We are emotionally broken and we can be offended that easily by just one thing somebody say and one thing somebody do. Hold your peace and let the Lord fight your battles. Doesn't that scripture comes into play lovely when it's need to be for when people are looking to try to intentionally hit you with the emotional and try to hit you emotionally, a low blow, anywho. So emotional, spiritual, and physical healing, all required to fully be completely healed. Not slacking, not 25, not 50, not 75, but 100% healing. That's why I encourage people when it comes down to it, when you get out of a previous relationship, I use my life and I use myself as the example to help people out. This is what I tell them. Here's what I did. I just took myself off the dating scene, just say, okay, I'm okay with friends. I just need to take time to myself. I need to heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually before I put myself in a position to want to invest in trying to. If a man seeks a wife seeks a good thing and obtain favor of the Lord. But I can't really seek her out and fully be committed fully to that person until I fully heal. If my mind, because otherwise I cannot focus on being committed or being with somebody that, especially God has for me, if my mind is scattered and not in full focus and tunnel vision for that man, for that wife that He has for me. That's why I use myself as the example. And people are a piece of work. So that's why I took time to heal and I took time to recover before I said, okay, I'm ready to go back out and see and prepare, and in the meanwhile, also prepare myself to find my wife. I don't know how. Ooh, not bad. I normally would have been on here for at least an hour by this point, but okay. So with God's permission, I can talk about this particular part, and then I'm gonna really end it. Okay. So it's just like how, let's just say we talking about how people will do God, they do other people the same way. All right, you know how we deal with so many people that always around when things are going good in our lives, everything's fitting, everything's going good, no problems, nothing like that. Then all of a sudden you go through some things, and all of a sudden everybody and their nana and their grandma and their granddad and their brother and sister nowhere to be found when you need help. Let me explain. That's God saying, well, sometimes even me, I ask God, show me who's for me and who's against me, so I know how to deal with people accordingly. And I do that, and it does work. Ask God. Wow, really? I asked God, I said, God, show me who's for me and who's against me. If they're against me, remove those that are become a hindrance in my life. It don't matter who they are. Remove them. Let their true character come out for me to know how to move and deal with them accordingly. It might sound a little mean, but it's honest. Because of the fact that you just don't want anybody around you. You trying to be positive, you trying to do better, want to become a better version of yourself, and we got all these negative people surrounding us, weighing down on us, and being a hindrance. So I asked God to do that. I may know a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people in my life. I have. Not even funny. But then I began to see who really is for me and who really the hindrance. So they start falling away, falling apart one by one, and I'm okay with it. My flesh would try to be upset and say, you need some more friends, but my spirit says no. If they're not going to be a positive influence on your life, they're not trying to nudge you and push you in the right direction, if they're not going to hold you accountable for the choices that you made, you don't need that type of people around you. God can't really work with us if we're having so much negativity around us. God cannot work on us if we have so much negativity around us. And we're being so freaking negative. So think about it. Why has a lot of things haven't been working out in your favor in your life? That's the first thought that I have in my life. My flesh says blame everybody else and don't blame yourself. My spirit says look in the mirror and you'll get your answer. So I had to point blame and blame myself. I always had excuses. I always blamed everybody around me why I'm the way I am. I'm always blaming somebody for why I'm not where I'm at in my life. I'm always blaming somebody. I always am. But never take any responsibility for my choices and my decisions that I made in my life. But when I got down on my knees, when I went to God and said, God, it's me. I'm standing here in the prayer, need a prayer. Forgive me for blaming. Please forgive me for my making excuses. Lord, you change me. Mold me into what you want me to be. Lead me, guide me. I can admit, one of the things that God is still continuing to work on me is my stubbornness. I can be stubborn, but I have no problem coming around to really, when I think about the situation, I'm show the situation about me being wrong, I have no problem going back and apologizing for anything I said or I've done wrong. And I can even say even now, if I said anything or I've done anything wrong to any of you in any shape or form, please do forgive me. I do apologize for what I said wrong and what I did wrong. I may or may not know it was wrong or right, or is seen and unseen, but please do forgive me. I have no problem to ask for forgiveness because I want somebody to do the same thing for me. I want them to forgive me. I want God to forgive me for everything if I said anything wrong or I did anything wrong, knowingly and unknowingly. My confession hotline. How can I help you? Because when we don't confess our sins, when we don't confess our faults, especially to one another, how can we heal? How can we be forgiven? So I want you to really think about that. So that is the Heart to Heart Talk. This is your one and only Facebook minister, Minister Eric Robinson Jr. I know it's 9 something at night. I pray that y'all get something out of it. I pray that y'all might share the message, encourage someone. Hear it out. Listen to beginning to end, and see if it's because sometimes it may not always relate to you. It may relate to somebody else who may need to hear this. So, this is your one and only Facebook minister, Minister Aaron Robinson. I thank y'all for tuning in today. Well, tonight, y'all know I like to wrap my sister saying, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for the hearts, likes, shares, and comments. Y'all have a God bless morning, afternoon, evening, and night. God bless y'all. Love y'all. Peace.